Hey everyone, week 4. It's incredible how fast this seems to be moving, at least for me. Some of you may be dragging along a little like turtle in peanut butter, but for me it seems to be moving very quickly. I have graded your papers as well as your first discussions from before, so you have now the ability to look back at some of the comments that I've made on both types of assignments that you submit. So make sure you take a look at that as you move into week 4, because this week is another writing assignment topic. And that way you can kind of see what it was that I was looking for in the past and kind of cater your next assignment so that you can get the maximum possible score. Gosh, I was just looking out my window. I don't know what life is like where you are or the weather is like where you are, but we have literally seen record highs over the weekend, and today it is snowing. The record low for today in the Springs, I think, is 21. And we may reach that. I think they said that the low is somewhere, some outlets say 21, some say 24. So we may reach that. And over the weekend, it was 97. So it's incredible just the difference a day makes. And that's the truth. Yesterday, my kids were outside eating popsicles, and today they're drinking hot chocolates by the fire. Kind of wild. So, it's just interesting and kind of something fun to kind of share with you. I hope that you all are maintaining and doing well as we move in through these weeks. And if the weather is as wild there, I hope that you're enjoying the crisp weather and the warm weather, whatever you may have had over the last couple of days. So this week, no discussion board, but you will still have the marketing lounge. You'll have your third writing assignment, and I have that pulled up here. No, not your third writing assignment. Your second writing assignment. And it is, again, a continuation of our discussion on customer loyalty. You'll discuss a little bit about what it means to have customer empowerment, what it looks like to be customer centric, and then also give an example of a time that you've experienced customer loyalty and what that looked like. So that is your writing assignment for this week. Be sure to give yourself some time to really look through that. Take a look at the rubric. Follow along in the question. Make sure you identify each component and explore that one so that you can get the maximum amount of credit. So the topics from the reading content this week will also explore loyalty and being customer centric. It'll talk about mass customization and what that looks like. And there's an optional reading this week on what customer-centric philosophies look like in the pharmaceutical industry. Now, that is not required. It's just an extra reading if you're finding yourself wanting to learn more about this topic. So this week, think about, the evolution of customer loyalty and why some customers are loyal. One of the most powerful ways to influence customer purchase behavior is by a message source that is trusted and reliable. And the social media platforms have kind of shifted that over time. In the past, before social media was so ubiquitous among customer bases, especially in this country, you had personal acquaintances that would be the most influential for your purchase decisions. While if you didn't know somebody who had used a product before, you would rely on third-party message sources. But a personal message source was extremely powerful in the marketplace. And social media has allowed that personal influence to kind of explode and reach a lot more consumers than it has in the past. And what they've actually named those people who are managing to reach a huge number of consumers are influencers. And so I'm sure that you've heard about them. You may even follow some. You may have made purchase decisions based on some, and there's nothing wrong with that. If it's a trusted source, that is an effective platform in which to share your product or your service, so that you can get someone who other people identify with or who are trusted to really kind of vouch for your product. Now, that is an extremely powerful purchase decision influencer. Now, our social media networks, whether it be Facebook or Instagram, also use a lot of the information that we discussed last week in our discussion board on privacy to determine which messages should reach you. And I'm just curious how many of you have, I am guilty of it, not always, but have clicked on something based on the messages that are sent to me reflective of my behavior online, whether it have been things that I click on, sites that I visit, topics that I discuss, searches that I've made. A lot of times I overlook those advertisements or those push notifications in my feed, whether it Instagram or Facebook, Snap, I mean, whatever it is that you're using. And but every now and then there is something that, as I look over it, it kind of speaks to me, whether it be a literature that I may be looking for, I wasn't looking for, in fact, but find in my feed, and I'm like, wow, my kids might really like that book, and it's based on something that I may have ordered on Amazon for my children. So you get it, and I'm just saying, I have done that. How many of you have done that, and do you recognize that as you're doing it? You probably do, and so the idea is that we need to observe these types of behaviors and what messages are getting to us. And was it because somebody else promoted it? Was it somebody in your feed who shared about a product? Or was it just an advertisement that appeared based on the algorithms that utilize the information they collect on our personal behavior? And the one last thing I wanted to mention, because I don't like these videos to go too long, so that you actually have time to watch them if you are so inclined at the beginning of each week, is the idea of built-in loyalty. Now, are there any situations that you can think of in which you have built-in loyalty? Now, I'm going to give you a minute, and then I'm going to give you one of mine. So my undergraduate school, I am automatically loyal to them, and probably to a fault, because I will fight my husband tooth and nail that my school is superior, and irregardless of how his ranks or something like that, and I just am completely loyal. And so even if some of those things aren't necessarily true, but there's those types of things. There's cultural loyalty, things that we are used to, that's built in based on our upbringing, that we are automatically loyal to. There's things that are based on our social circles, our activities, our interests. I know several of you here are in CrossFit, and I know that there are some built-in loyalties there, and not to mention the message sources of the people that you work out with. I know I've made purchase decisions about apparel or fitness equipment based on the recommendations of people that I trust. So what kind of built-in loyalties exist out there, and how do they manifest in our everyday purchase decisions? So just some things to think about this week, guys, as we go into week 4. And I'll be on the message board this week. You will not have required discussions, but I will be in the marketing lounge. If you want to take a look or even share something that you see this week in the marketing lounge, be happy to discuss some things there with you this week. Otherwise, if you have questions, just reach out to me and I will email you back as soon as possible. Have a great week.